Yeah, so I borrowed the guitar for today's session from ATB Guitars up in Cheltenham, and sadly it's already sold and it'll be winging its way to its new owner very soon. But honestly, it's just such a killer guitar that I really hope that despite its collectability and its kind of museum grade condition, I just hope this thing gets played every day for the rest of the new owner's life. It's an amazing instrument. The reason that this guitar is particularly collectible and interesting, even by the standards of 1952 Les Pauls, is that it's one of the first 100 ever made. And these models don't have a serial number, so the way that you can tell that is the lack of fingerboard binding and the diagonal adjustment screws on the bridge P90. There are a couple of other differences between this guitar and Les Pauls that came later in 1952. One of which is that the body is about 1/8 of an inch deeper, and it's quite subtle, but you can see that around the back near the neck heel. Other features that it's got in common with the later 1952 models are the tall control knobs and the trapeze tailpiece. Now this kind of wrap under configuration causes some consternation among players because it basically means that you can't palm mute. However, if you're not looking to do that, there's not a lot else that it won't do, and there's something about the neck angle here and the adjustment heights of the pickups that means that it's really well balanced sonically. And if it bothers you, both Mojo Axe and Glazer make a retrofit bridge that you can pop in there that will sort out any of the playability issues without actually any permanent modifications being made. Another thing that's definitely worth mentioning about this guitar from a playability perspective is the neck shape, which has got that really comfortable early 50s Gibson soft V thing going on. Now, it's not a kind of pronounced V shape that you'd probably get from, say, a 56 Fender. It's a little more subtle than that, and it's nicely soft-shouldered and nicely rounded, and just sits in the palm really well in lower registers for chords, and then has a bit more bulk to provide support up in the higher registers. A couple of extra little details that are interesting from a kind of Les Paul nerd's perspective are that you'll see up on the headstock that the dot on the I is actually joined to the G on the Gibson logo, which is something that you won't find on many other Les Pauls. And then back at the body end, down behind the bridge, from certain angles you can actually see that the top is almost perfectly center joined, and there's even a lick of flame visible from under the gold paint. However, the collectability and originality of this guitar means that you'd be a fool to think it was a candidate for a burst conversion, and it should definitely be kept in its original condition. Acoustically, there's an amazing amount of resonance from this instrument. It's just a shade under £8, which puts it in a pretty light category really for Les Pauls, unusually so in fact. But there's no lack of sustain, and there's no lack of kind of projection and power to the voice either. And even though it's such a dense mahogany and maple kind of combination, it's got this airiness to it and this almost semi-hollow quality that you feel in the neck and the body as you're playing. Given that so few Les Pauls were made with this configuration, there aren't exactly many around, but Frank Sampedro from Crazy Horse is one celebrity player who has one of these, although his is modified with a wrap over tailpiece. But you can definitely get some of that kind of wild Neil Young style bite out of this guitar for sure, as well as much sweeter textures. All of that acoustic character definitely translates into the amplified performance, which hopefully you can hear now. I'm just going straight into the Lazy J. We haven't done much to the sound at all. There's a ribbon mic in front of the amp and a couple of room mics just for some extra kind of 3D ambience. But hopefully you can hear how much ground this thing covers. You know, everything from kind of throaty, sort of ballsy rock down at the bridge pickup to really sweet and articulate neck pickup tones, and at no point is there any kind of shortage of bite or definition. And it just, you know, it's endlessly inspiring, and it just keeps on giving.